Glenn Youngkin has won the Republican primary in Virginia's gubernatorial race. Former President Donald Trump endorsing the former private equity CEO earlier this week. Former Carlisle CEO and Virginia Republican gubernatorial candidate Glenn Youngkin joins me now. And Glenn, great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. Congratulations on getting the endorsement of former President Trump. How important was that endorsement for your campaign?
Well, we came out of the weekend incredibly strong. We had a groundswell of support across Virginia, which was just both humbling but incredibly encouraging. And so I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to lead. I'm ready to serve. And the endorsement from the president earlier this week was, again, something I'm very honored by. But it also reflects the fact that the Republican Party across Virginia is coming together. But it's not just limited to the Republican Party, Maria. I'm actually hearing from independents and from Democrats that Virginia cannot afford a third term of the McAuliffe-Northam administration. We have to get moving. We have to actually put Virginia back where she belongs as the best state in America to live and work and raise a family. And as a political outsider, I am really well positioned to win in November and serve as governor starting next year.
Energy industry, obviously critical as well to the growth in Virginia. More than 50% of gas stations in Virginia are out of gas. I want to get your take on what we're talking about this morning with regard to price increases for commodities like gasoline, like lumber, like corn. But even more importantly, we heard two members of the Biden administration, whether it is the energy secretary or the climate envoy, saying that the best way to transfer oil and gas is through a pipeline. They both said this yesterday. Do you think there's having a conversation with Joe Biden about this since he just canceled the XL pipeline?
Yeah, one of the most amazing realities is, first, we have serious cyber threat in America, and we got to be awake to this. And when I was co-leading Carlisle, we were really focused on making sure that cyber defense and cyber integrity was at the core of a lot of our business strategy. So we got to stay awake because we have adversaries that are trying to take down our infrastructure. But second of all, it's amazing to me because the McAuliffe-Northam administration and all of their left liberal friends have been so anti-pipeline. And here we have single source failure in the mid-Atlantic. One pipeline. Every time there's been a pipeline project, it faces major opposition. They've canceled them. We've canceled jobs. And here we are getting ready to give up the greatest advantage that we have earned as America over the course of the last century, which is to be energy independent. And all of a sudden, we're saying we don't like pipelines, and this is what it shows. When we have single source failure like this, then all of a sudden prices go from $2.50 to $2.80 to over $4, and we have over 50% of our gas stations in Virginia without gas. And by the way, Maria, what does this mean for our economy? We're trying to come out of this economy, come out of this pandemic, and we all of a sudden can't have delivery trucks. We have fuel shortages at airports. We have fuel shortages in all of our industry. And this is what this represents in a very myopic view that Terry McAuliffe and Ralph Northam and their left liberal friends have had, which is let's constrain our investment in the most important way to transport fuel around this country, which is with pipelines. It's the safest, it's the most efficient, and now all of a sudden we're seeing the result of bad policy decisions made a long time ago. And as governor, I'm going to actually look forward, not look back.
No, that's right. And, I've been saying this week, bad policy equals bad outcomes. And we're seeing bad outcomes across the world as a result of policy decisions like the potential of getting back in the Iran deal, perhaps, jeopardizing the Abraham Accords. No wonder we're seeing rockets fly once again against Israel in the Middle East. Let me ask you about the platform that you are running on and what you plan to do. The mainstream media seems to be against you. Glenn, how do you get over that? And also, you did beat out a field of 7 candidates, including entrepreneur Pete Snyder, former GOP House Delegate Speaker Kirk Cox, and State Senator Amanda Chase. Tell me where this goes from here and the platform that you expect to run on.
Well, first of all, the media is lying about me because I'm a serious threat to the Terry McAuliffe political dynasty. And the media is lying about me because they know I can bring an end to single-party rule in Richmond. I mean, the reality is, I have said before that Joe Biden was legitimately elected our president. I mean, he took the oath and was sworn in. He's sleeping in the White House. He's unfortunately signing executive order after executive order. But the reality here is I'm not going to get lectured by the same people, Terry McAuliffe and all of his liberal friends, who actually said nothing when Hillary Clinton said that Donald Trump was an illegitimate president. I mean, the reality is that Terry McAuliffe and his media friends are afraid to talk about the real issues. They're hiding behind the same old silly narrative. We absolutely are trying to come out of a pandemic. We absolutely have gas shortages. We have our schools that are still closed. We absolutely have folks who have not recovered their jobs. I mean, in Virginia, only 45% of the jobs that were lost have come back, and versus Texas, where it's 80%. And so I want to talk about the real issues that are facing Virginians, as opposed to what Terry wants to do, is talk about this tired old narrative. He's on the wrong side of every issue that are on Virginians' minds. He wants to absolutely get rid of right to work and force people to pay part of their union wages to his union boss, pay other wages to their union boss friends. He actually wants to keep our schools teaching our kids what to think as opposed to how to think. He wants to make it impossible to be in law enforcement so that our crime rates continue to go up. He is on the wrong side of every issue, and he won't talk about it. And that's what's on Virginians' minds and why I have so much momentum going into this election in November. Whether it's Republicans, independents, or Democrats, I'm seeing a groundswell of support, Maria.
You're talking about this critical race theory that he wants to push throughout schools. But, Glenn, an even bigger issue is this economic policy that we're hearing about. The answer to what you're talking about, unemployment and a slow economy, has been throw money at the problem. All of this stimulus is obviously causing inflation. Your thoughts on the higher taxes that are coming? Is there anything you can do to stop this radical agenda, runaway spending and sky-high taxes?
Well, I've said before that the policies coming out of Washington and what Terry McAuliffe backs is going to create a flash-in-the-pan economic problem, because we're seeing inflation rise. We're not seeing the jobs come back. And, oh, by the way, we need a durable economy, not a flash-in-the-pan economy. And I believe that as governor, I will, in fact, go back to our basics. We're going to actually take down the cost of doing business. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to cut back regulations. We're going to open up free enterprise. We're going to, in fact, invest in creating a business climate in Virginia where companies want to be here. The sad thing, Maria, is we're actually losing some of our best companies. Advanced Auto Parts leaves Raleigh and moves to Roanoke, leaves Roanoke and moves to Raleigh, North Carolina. And we have Norfolk Southern, which is no longer headquartered in Norfolk, Virginia. It's headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. And so these are the kinds of issues that we have to address going forward with sound economic policy, not government spending and high taxes, is what we're going to see out of the McAuliffe administration and what their left liberal Democrat friends have been telling us forever, which is we got to spend a lot, tax you more. And, oh, by the way, here's the first sign, which is rising inflation and a flash-in-the-pan economy.
All right, Glenn, we will be watching. Thanks very much for being here. We will certainly catch up soon. Glenn Youngkin joining us this morning in Virginia. Coming up.